It does a 3, 2, 1, off you go. You can see that the microphone's picking me up. The little blue bar is indicating it can hear me right now. All right, so now I go over to the learning glass. There I am on screen. So how does this work? It's honestly, it's pretty simple. I know it looks complicated. It's not, I promise you. So there are 4 main steps to utilizing the learning glass. The first step is to turn on the lights. So the learning glass has, it's kind of important. The learning glass has 2 dimmer switches up here at the front. The first dimmer switch turns on the LEDs that are pointed into the pane of glass itself. And that's going to fluoresce the marker. We use these special neon dry erase paint markers. They show up really, really nice on the learning glass. The second switch that I'll hit is the spotlight to illuminate me. Okay, so that's looking a little bit better. But of course, we have the problem of a lot of reflection right now. So Joel, do you want to turn off that other light? Ooh.
Takes a little to impress.
Well, that's all you got to show us.
I know. Basically, you can go home from here. And actually, let me point something out, because right now the learning glass, we have it in Studio One, BEC 1. However, the developer of the learning glass is a physics professor from San Diego State University, and he uses the learning glass in live classrooms. He actually does not put it in a studio. He does it like I'm doing with you right now. And that's actually a really intriguing way to use it, because if you think about delivery types like my choice, utilizing something like this would be pretty cool. So maybe down the road, that's something that we can potentially explore. Now, the way in which this is used. I already did the first step, which is we turn on the LEDs and turn off the lights, turn off the room lights. Tim, I am very skilled at writing backwards. Now, how does that work? The way it works is that this camera is connected into this little red box here on the tripod. That red box's purpose is to flip the image horizontally live. UW Stout has a learning glass. The way that they do this is they point their camera into a mirror to get that effect, but we just utilize this box that came with our system. So either way, gets the same effect. So up there on the screen, it's all written the proper way. So we turn it on. Okay, so again, I want you to imagine you're going to use the learning glass. You go into Studio One, turn on these 2 little switches. I would keep them at their lowest setting. If I crank up the LEDs super bright, it starts to kind of look like a crime scene with all of this weird ghosting effect going on. It doesn't need to be super bright. If I turn it down to its lowest setting, not only does that messiness go away, but the colors come through better as well. So you don't need to crank that up. Same thing with the spotlight. If I crank it super bright, I'm going to get washed out. So you can keep that low as well. Okay. So I turn on the LEDs. I turned off the room lights. Next step. Log into Canvas, open Arc. Studio One has a computer ready to go that this is all connected to. Third step, you want to make sure that your picture is in frame, and you want to test your markers. I can tell that this marker is already getting a little dry on me. These markers, what you can do, because this marker is not empty by any means, but you can shake them up just like a spray paint can. And then if you have a piece of scrap paper, you can actually push the tip of the marker in, and that fills the tip with ink and gets it ready to go for more writing. To get the picture in frame, when it's in Studio One, we do our best to arrange it so that you don't have to do anything. It should be mostly in frame. However, for those of our faculty who are shorter or taller than others, there is a switch over here on the left to move it up or down. Okay. Pictures in frame, markers look good. So the last thing that I would do is I would do a quick test video. Just do a little test, make sure the microphone's picking you up, make sure everything looks decent, and then assuming it does, begin recording. Which is what I did right before I got over here. So that's it. You start up your recording, you go through your lecture, you're annotating over here. You could, if you wanted to, get some graphics up here before you start. That's what I did because I know if I try to draw the Canvas logo live, it's going to look like a disaster. So I did that beforehand. And it's a good idea to plan out what you are going to write before you get started. Maybe have some notes up here on the tabletop so that you know exactly what you're going to do. And if you expect that you're going to go through multiple glasses worth of notes, you can plan that out ahead of time. And you'll know that, okay, once I fill this up, I'm going to stop the recording, save that video. Let's go do a new recording with a fresh piece of glass, right? And I got this question in the last session. Does it really erase? Yes, it does really erase. So I will say, though, that it does leave a little bit of like clown confetti over here on the tabletop. So just be aware of that. Okay, so I'm going to finish my recording. I just hit finish.